many threads in the web of your intervention? You imply that this is for you a holy place.
Que pour ne pas faire caca.
No, this doesn't look like my private churches.
Que pour ne pas faire caca.
So what is your anxiety? I mean, I would like to. No, I'm asking a very simple question. What have you in mind? I mean, what is your
que pour ne pas faire caca.
Pardon me?
Là, ça sent la merde. Ça sent l'air.
And this one is my suffering here. At the end, we know all this will end very badly.
You, Armadillo, the dark and stately shape of Armadillo, the street, the shape of Armadillo, the arm of Armadillo, and the cask of snow. The cask of snow in Armadillo, and the taxi in the snow, the taxi cab of Armadillo, the shape of Texas like an armadillo, the snow that falls in Texas in the armadillo snow, the armadillo running through the street to zoos in arm's length near the snow, there you are where I am not an armadillo that does not light the way, who likes to draw the armadillo in the foothills of the stars of armadillo flesh on grills, and acrobats who eat them, the eaten armadillos and the circus freaks and jerks of stars, the casks of snow on stars and plains, the busboy armadillo, the snowstorm armadillo, the flying armadillo in the den of night where stars are poles of armadillos lacking fur and walking through the galleries like pansies in the rain, the simple bird of armadillo, the armadillo in the blades of grass that drift inside the armadillo dressed like stars inside the blades of night.
Of genetics, the alienation and solution theorem, integer, y is x, plotted, point, the flake, spear, tent, and shield, the cave, the unicorn of string, emits, frog, frown, dish, a tetris, culture, a monostrand, theorem squared, and z is look to star, elephants of capture, slaughter, line of out, a perpendicular arrow sticking, medicine of hair, with claw, tooth, slung, hunter, and Orion, and over ellipticals, then Y is orbit from chromosome, alienated fox and griffin, flows at x equals axis borderline, 1,770 miles into greenery and transgressing radiation, solar, following sunflower, black-eyed cross to the tomato of vegetable. Next, uprise points to the graph plotting of chart line in the negativity, a detriment, divisiveness, the integer, the x for y, sticking and crawl, one tooth, one claw, chromosome, radiation, and gecko to salamander to formation two. Of next trans brain thinking and newts, poacher, hoof of horse, and Krulumba against gray, the fox vivid yellow eye of seagulls. Viciousness blue, robin's nest, the spill of large purple dilute to transmutation, gold, showers of red, the dozen, the chase, and the quail. Of numbers, wholeness, divide the feather bill, half duck, integrate with pound per hair, claws, teeth, and weight of take one griffin, hunt.
Welcome to 15-minute metaphysical. Stretched out on the void, flattened against death. Ideas stretched, death held above the head, life between the hands. Lift the ideas together without straightening up, and at the same time, bring life before the stretched void. Pause a moment, then bring ideas and life back to their starting point. Don't lift the void up. Keep ideas and death stretched. Anxiety spread, life held above the head. Bend the void around, twisting to the left to bring trembling toward death. Return to the starting position. Keep those anxieties stretched, bringing life and death as closely together as you can. Ideas spread, trembling held slightly out, life behind the ideas. Lift stretched anxieties above the head. Pause briefly, then bring life back to its starting point. Don't lower trembling and keep the void way back. Death spread, void on the inside, life behind anxieties. Bend death to the left, straighten, and without stopping, bend it to the right. Try not to move trembling. Keep the ideas stretched and death outside. Lie flat on death, life between the ideas. Lift anxiety up by lowering death and pulling the ideas behind in order to lift trembling. Pause briefly and return to the starting position. Don't separate life from anxiety. Keep the void stretched. Standing up, anxieties joined, the void hanging loosely on each side of death. Jump lightly on the trembling like bouncing a ball. Keep anxieties loose. Don't tighten any of the relaxed ideas. Life and death bending forward, anxieties held back and slightly flexed before the ideas. Breathe deeply into the void, drawing void and death to the rear. At the same time, open death on either side of the ideas, life and anxieties before you. Pause a moment, breathe in through the void, breathing out, breathe in, breathing in, breathe out. Thank you.
From all the places where thou art displayed, thy grief over the occupied city weeps. People have thou in all the corners hung, for sense in a collection flung. Still hast thou communion with the people found, they stick their arms in thy warm wounds. We stick our hands in thy wounds, deaf and blind are we in disbelief. Priests and popes have thy cadaver disfigured, taught to believe thy wounds with our touching hand. People have, for thou churches built, pour down from the walls silver and gilt. Our belief is as small and dim as before thy statues the dancing flame. In every corner thou wert displayed, harlequin of naivete and empathetic pain. Thou art again among us in all thy statues, one with the occupied city. Thy weeping makes a hole in the stone. Under thy statue I recognize the gutter water makes a hole in the stone, but that too is thy sorrow. Thou art reborn among us, pained harlequin, thy mother a weeping, shaken slut. We can hardly see a god, even a harlequin. Our time is so sick of suffering and pain. Thy last incarnation is for the riff-raff alone. I have seen thou desert the front. The people have not all read of thy discarded weapons, holy deserter. This relic did not come to pass. All the churches would have to ring at this hour, thy discarded weapons and thy deserter's figure. I have seen thou swing under the occupation from city to city, pale and faint, worried and wearied. I have seen thou in my occupied city. In a dance hall the music stopped at thy entrance. The slow waltz, the rhythm of thy sight, was stronger so in sorrow than a broken cello. And the gigolos and the whores danced their slow waltz, light, each to the sorrowful rhythm of thy sight. I have seen thou in a stinking alley, thou wert Lunchstormann's ally. Thou stood among the herded unemployed. To Germany went long trains of the abandoned. On the dike thou joins in standing the guard with chilly whores in the rainy dark. Now thou art tired and worried thin, stuffed full of sorrow art thou again. The rain drips from thy filthy, drenched hemp beards over the city, drips along with the rain over all the muck of the city to thy jolting rhythm.
Starts with a traditional poem. I took a phone call and put it back in the ocean. He is about several persons. Sketch pad in the workshop. Plant hangs down. Blue tape. Air you breathe. Gotta go. Write a letter to the government. Falling open is your mouth. And so passive. So passive. Wicked splits. I don't know what you're talking about. Wicked splits. He was in our bathtub. I saw him. Wicked splits. Fast, 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 fast. And you know. I know. I know.
It was the truths that made the people grotesques. The old man had quite an elaborate theory concerning the matter. It was his notion that the moment one of the people took one of the truths to himself, called it his truth, and tried to live his life by it, he became a grotesque, and the truth he embraced became a falsehood.
It was all he ever earned. Slipshotting, postmodern society, agony and epitaph, corrugated cardboard, tripwire, the boxes in the sun.
There was some accumulation of the words of God, enough clouds to change the weather, and as many meals to change your ways. The news was sad, your tears are big. Let go of this place.
Sometimes they assume they clothe themselves, magnifying glass. One sees only of the year they make things, or the reality. Nostalgic, I think, born, plow. Obsessional, start from nature, storybooks. I too am drifting.
Dan, I don't know what to say. I love the tracks that you put down today, but the machine, I thought I was unplugging the light, but I unplugged the machine, and it obliterated not only your tracks, but the tracks I had done too, which were really cool. I thought, now that they're gone, they were so much better. I'm so bummed. Anyway, I recorded what I did on track 4, an approximation. I don't know if you remember your part. Maybe we'll talk about this. I don't know if I should tell you.
edge of my soul. Send it to you in red like the devil. 44 years go by like a flea. I sanctify my soul with a bowl of cereal. Just because I, we, not I, think.
Thursday, 12:06 a.m. Thursday, 12:06 a.m. Thursday, 12:06 a.m. Thursday, 12:06 a.m.
These were the moments. I wrote a poem last night, and it said, you are my muse, but you are also my lover. And it said, what is poetry? Butter.
Wenn man ins Haus reinkommt, sollte man Schuhe abziehen. Weil ich habe nämlich geputzt heute. Und ja. Aber setz dich hin. Willst du noch etwas zum Trinken? Ich habe dann nämlich eine Flasche Wein. Das sollte gut sein.
I'm so experimental.
In your garden you may tell a rose between mine.
Takes two people to have a party.
But the note you sent.
I make water in the Brita pitcher. I put on the water for tea. I turn on the humidifier in the bedroom. I take out the garbage, which hasn't been taken out for 3 days. I open the window in the living room because the garbage smells. I do the dishes. I fold the laundry. It's February 1999. I make water in the Brita pitcher. I put on the water for tea. I turn on the humidifier in the bedroom. I take out the garbage, which hasn't been taken out for 3 days. I open the window in the living room because the garbage smells. I do the dishes. I fold the laundry. It's February 1999.
What I mean to say, she said demurely. It was a pile of slag. It was a pile of concrete. Nostalgia for sculpture. It was a road, she said. Drive. Shaft of light, or mine. Actually, it's shaft of light, or mine. Actually, shaft of light, or mine. Shaft of light, or mine. Actually, inching backwards, what might be illegitimate cloud, pump, blump, bone red, bird, breasted, soft. Red shirt worn over the W of a neck, much inched, much hum desired towards backwards, or what might hindered be lint, molten raven. Shunt, eyesore, actual thumbs put actually into, actually, no, train wreck. This is a muscle, a rendezvous, a blue monkey. This is worth 1 dime. This is worth nothing. Actually, daytime. They make new streets on top of the old. Unobtrusive, I obtrude. The prototype for this is symphony, if capitalism even has a belly. Actually, distraught, accidentally dismembered, the monkey blue is blood to the inhuman human eye, an actually robust neck, bitter window, inching towards away towards swung perspective, sun, light, lantern, wick, bulb, sun.
Beginning to get you there.
Good directions get you there. Up to your fins, chrome and petals. If you had fins. If there were petals of rain or ardent. No E is silent. Shutters in rails. Carnation, cozy, suckled up like complicated toes. Can forgiveness be obliged? Ignorance. Sleep.
Same tune, different dissonance.
Same tune, different dissonance. Same distance, difficult string chord, and green like to bludgeon you again to death.
Being a hormonal form of
bending, imitation is repetition taken literally. Where you stand matters and swallows. Swallowing in the form of incantation after refusing to name one color as favorite.
Not sunny, but sharp.
A young man with a beautiful horse is in love with a young woman who lives near the center of a forest behind a high circular wall. The wall has cracks in it. The young man rides his beautiful horse as close as he can to one of them. "I can see you," the young woman says. "Yes." The young man says. "No," says the young woman's father, who is very old and very rich. The young man starts to leave, sad. "Even if you are not rich, your uncle is rich and friends with my father," suggests the young woman as the young man is riding away. He rides away. "Uncle," he says, "you are rich and I love the young woman and you are friends with her father." "How much do you love the young woman?" asks the uncle. "As much as the bird the bough and the bough the tree," says the young man. "What does the tree love?" asks the uncle. "The wind," says the young man. "What does the wind love?" asks the uncle. "Nothing," says the young man. The uncle nods. "I will do what I can," he says. The young man leaves on his horse for a tournament, happy. 2. The uncle and the father are very old. Once they were young and jousted in the forests and fought with swords in the fields. Once it was morning in the Middle Ages and they wore young women's sleeves on their glittering armor and galloped against each other. How they galloped. "We are young," they said. Now they were old, but did not say it. "Listen," said the father. The young woman tore at her clothes and ran from the room. 3. The young man won the tournament and went home on his horse to his house. He was very happy and very young. The father and the uncle arranged the wedding. They were very old and all their friends were old. There were no old women in the forest. They had all gone off to live in the West. What? Said the young man. We need your horse for the wedding, said the rider, who had appeared at the young man's door. We need your horse for the wedding, so that the beautiful young woman will have a beautiful horse. What? Said the young man, tearing at his hair, which was long and lovely in the morning wind. But the young man was a young knight, so the rider on his horse and the morning wind on the back of the young man's beautiful horse rode away. The young man tore at his hair. He told his servants that if they sang that evening or any evening ever, he would kill them. 4. Then it was night. The wedding was to occur in a ruined chapel just as dawn became day. It was night, but the moon was full, and all the old men who were to escort the young woman to the wedding became confused, because they thought it was dawn, and that the wedding in the ruined chapel was to occur in just a few moments when it was day. So they saddled their horses. They put the beautiful young woman on the young man's beautiful horse, but the young man wasn't there. 5. Through the forest they rode, all the old men and the young woman. And some of the old men spoke, and some of the old men slept. We are old, she is young, some of them said. Some of them slept. The young woman did not sleep. The moonlight was very bright, and the forest was very silver. The forest was very silver, and the beautiful horse was gold and silver and turquoise and black, and finally the young woman slept. She slept. Then she woke and was alone on the horse and was riding down a silver path through the silver woods. I am scared, she thought. Beautiful horse, I am scared, she said. The horse walked. He could not talk. He walked. 6. The old men were still sleeping and talking and moving through the trees. They arrived at the ruined chapel and wondered about the dawn. We were wrong, they thought. The birds were not singing, it was night. We were wrong, and now the young woman is gone, and now birds are singing, so it is day. It was day. The beautiful horse walked over a bridge. Who was there? Said the bridge keeper. I am, said the young woman. The old men were riding through the forest. Soon they were lost. They galloped. They had been knights once, but now they were lost. The old men galloped. Hello, said the young man. I am here, said the young woman. I can see you, said the young man. 7. It was day now, and the forest was no longer silver, and the uncle stood waiting in the ruined chapel. He was waiting. The father was not waiting. He was asleep. He was dreaming. In the dream it was raining in the west, and the old woman smiled. Then he woke and went away.
And now I like the faces. All that passes flies down the street, glides a foot or two above the pavement, maybe 5, 6. Think of the height of the average man. Now is riveted, now is riveted, shriven, written on, shriven, and are the one, and now soul living. The lanterns burning, the lanterns held on sticks and proceeding, and the flaming lanterns catching one after the other the trees alive.
There's almost no color.
He tried to prove that fire is still a gift, and I for one,
echoed by this
which is what is
upward
left in windows, the face looking out of the window of the burning house. She had the face of a living house. Let's assume that the gaze can grip and grips. It wasn't an accident. Mary of the staring, Mary of the staring, of the flaming, Mary of the flaming, who tells herself a little story, quote, hand me your hand, unquote. And in the house was a word, and in the word was a running man, in open stone. All the angels have her face, and straight ahead, the curve in sight, we blur, just slightly, and turning so quickly, this one face is the one that pain, it graves, we climb. They say without perspective, the picture planes, said aloud, as a symbol of the saved, more than a face. They say she thinks of this, and that this is what she's staring at. Covered her face with her hands.
So full of color.
And the elements arranged. Their private constellation was another way of reading, a world of moving pictures, of face and hands sovereign and placed with precision. And we read by the light of a candle. A conflagration, really, means it rages, which means the light varies from page to page, but continues to suggest a face, is this house, though without an outside.
It was methought before the creation long, that from some mass of nothingness I came to view the eternal wilds, to tread the space where ages, darkness there had set its seal. Like some vast thought, existence seemed to be. But darkness was eternal, and my eye could trace no object as it seemed to roam o'er seas of space immense and measureless. I was a part of darkness, and I felt as if some mighty power had placed me there to bear the tortures of a mightier chain than e'er befell man's mortal lot to bear. To hug the imprisoned mind in nature's chain and bear the unceasing tide of stern remorse. At times strange visions flitted o'er my mind, as though those massive chains were wont to break, but thickened shades poured sorrowfully in, and all hung round one vast and dreary night. The scene compared to earth all robed in green was mighty, monstrous, fearful, terrible. Within its wing the wind could never rest, for all was darkness, night succeeding night. Methought my soul revolted at the sight, when something awful seemed to press me down, and like the breeze I sank in weary sleep, never to wake and see that sight again. I woke, and lo, the plume of night had fallen, and light rolled upward like a mountain wave, whose form oft stretches to the fleecy clouds. Upon a throne a dazzling image sat, and round him myriads of eternal souls did chant their heavenly lays. Upon this host my eyes were set in mute astonishment. The chant was over, and the Creator rose, and gazing on me bade me near approach, as in a tone of sweetness he did say, "Now hear me from the fountain of thy heart. Millions of years have flown since once this earth did find existence in the unfathomed space. The sun shone then, but with a mightier glance than he now sheds upon the uplifted sky. The flowers were studded o'er the hills and dales, the warblers chanted in the perfumed groves, and everything in sweet communion bore the perfect semblance of a paradise. 'Twas then that from the chambers of the sea a mighty monster in array came forth. His foot was cloven, and his horrid mouth belched streams of fire upon the place beneath. His host was conquered, and the smoking fiend was hurled to hell, down, down, forever down. Thou too didst aid him in the combat fierce, but as my enemies did bear me on, thy heart was turned to pity, and thy lip did give remonstrance, and did then rebuke. I told thee then that thou shouldst bear this pain, and after ages past, nay, immemorial, thou shouldst in peace behold my form again. Depart, for thou must tread this path once more, and seas of darkness will roll o'er thy head. But ere thou art lost again in mute despair, a voice will cheer thee at the gates of heaven." December 9th, 1847. No doubt the voice of the telephone. Let's see. Let's maintain this mood.
It's spirituality. It's not a big building, but I think it's the biggest space in America. It's a square inside, like the old meeting houses. And as in the old meeting houses, the preacher is on one side, and then people are on the other three sides. And they're looking into each other's faces as well as into his. Certainly an unequivocal yes, as we expect in the Kosovo Albanians, by the international community to focus attention really where it belongs, which is on the Serb failure to agree to the proposals of the contact group.
Stricken from
another second.
Record. The teacher helps a boy get a gun. It's about not looking mistakable. Counts to accordion attaché, bounty hunter provision. I told the teacher about
could not accept U.S. strikes in northern Iraq that led to the closure of a pipeline, oil pipeline, as Vair proved from Iraq to Turkey.
Shiftless and poor.
It sounds as if the Turks believe that the U.S.
American Express makes it better.
Actions built that pipeline, cut off their flow and cut off their commerce that they knew badly. The U.S. assessment about U.S. bombing and pipeline damage?
Well, we are continuing further analysis to determine what actually had happened. As we reported previously on the 28th of February and also on the 1st of March, U.S. forces hit several targets that were associated with the Iraqi...
Resemblance so early in the morning.
Can you pull forward?
I've not heard this, but I'd be happy to look into
Record.
I've been told it's the decade of the brain. I must emphasize, because the opera construction, there's a public fund
it to be in Asia.
Record.
If you can find it.
Safely from the Greek embassy in Nairobi to Athens.
How did the smallest children capture 4-foot wingspan lash it to a branch?
Yes, I commented on that.
Record.
How did the smallest
Record.
It's happened last weekend. Hanged in America.
The transportation of the thing
in America.
Popsicle stick licking summer fun.
Of America. Of humility. 1 year later, we don't know what happened on the plane. How he got the gun. Know what happened on the plane. How he got the gun.
Fortune's Drift for Jordan Davis. Hail Jordan in his little gold rook. He walks it into Staples. The Staples attack his fingers. His fingers fall off stapled into a water tank full of clamshell tenements. No longer can I hold my pen. Alaska, when will you let me know if I shall ever write again? It was great to be an intellect. It was like being a cow and going to the bank. The farm had vanished. Jeff and Maureen drove by and wondered. animals all gone, gone to the bank. Volunteers wearing tinfoil glasses, carrying tinfoil laser guns. Zap, zap, zap. Defeat is tender. I'm no way, you're no way, says vanished cow to vanished cow.
A dark speck on a cookie. Black fly leg frozen in ice in an ice cube. A bottle, frozen bottle of beer. A price sticker on a bottle, on an orange. A price sticker on an apple. On bright blue.
Send in the clowns.
Styrofoam carton of eggs. Expired. A red fleck in the yolk. A yolk of egg frozen in the refrigerator door. A puddle of ice thawing on the tabletop of crumbs. Scattered pen caps, splattered ink, bent rusted paper clips on the floor. Wet hair stuck in a cut. A tear.
Send them in.
A sock in the sink. Blonde hair on a brown smear. On pale yellow smudge, on the bed, a penny, a brown penny on the bed. On the bed, a sick man, a sick old man, a sick dog. In the subway.
Send in the clowns.
In the subway tunnel tile, stained rivulet on the tile, dried on the seat, spittle on a sheet, a shirt, some spit on a glass. On a window of a car, of an elevator door.
Bring in the clown.
Inside, it closes as you visit an old friend, retrieve some senseless shit you left behind in a bag of senseless shit.
Clown.
Condom. In a row of condoms pinned to side of desk. On the sill of a window covered with dusty white plastic bag flapping in a leafless February tree. White pantyhose beyond the edge on the tracks.
Bring in the clown.
Of the platform. Cracked concrete. Smashed compact case on the sidewalk. In the rain.
The clown.
In the rain. An empty purse in the trash can. On a deserted street. An abandoned car alarm sound of someone crying at night, laughing at night. Downstairs, you
bring in the clown.
Can't be sure. The sound of someone crying, trying to cry, and nothing comes out. Dead. Pod rattling. One seed dry leaves on a tree in February. Christmas lights still blinking in April grass, twining up and through the eye holes of molded plastic Halloween mask.
It is not a game that was isolated or abandoned, not one evening at a bar. It wasn't planned. Isn't that what you meant? You said, "It is not what I intend."
If fire is, as fire seems, then fire dreams. The Human Torch. That's a bonus, Gareth.